When you do submerge the plants, you will end up having a far longer time period between waterings. If you just go and use a little water at a time, then you are going to end up having to water that plant very often, every day, every other day. Now, there is no doubt at times of the year you have to water every other day. Maybe every other time a soaking, every other time a watering at its stand on the table in the living room. All right, we are really opening up the top of this plant now, and we're beginning to highlight more and more of these branches. Now, to further detail the plants, you will see copper wire used. Now, copper wire is used more on younger plants to give them a shape and character like we've already begun here. However, there are times where the wire helps to bend a branch into a more prominent position to the plant to give it that more equality of shape that, most people are looking for out of their bonsai. And wiring the plants do take an awful lot out of the plants themselves. In other words, this wire can stress the branch as it grows for too long a period of time. So you might end up only having the wire on for about a year, maybe a little more. Okay, now we're carefully wrapping the wire around the branching. And of course, copper wire can be used over and over again. And in this particular case, to me to get this branch right in here, I'm going to have to do a tie down effect. I'll leave this on for about 2 to 3 months in here, and then I'll check and see how well it holds. I may have to leave it on longer, but again, part of working with bonsai is the ability or the need to check frequently, because that's what you're supposed to do. You are checking the plants every day for all of the little details that they may need. Bonsai are like children. You just can't leave them go. Trust me, I know about that. I have 4 kids at home. Scratch that. 3 kids at home. One's married and got a baby. All right, so on the bonsais, again, some more questions people have is where to place the bonsai. And there's no doubt that it's a growing plant, so we have to have the bonsai in a situation where it does have some sunlight on it. This particular Zelkova, now it's a little older than some of the other ones, so it would need more like a south window or a west window to give it sun long enough to penetrate down through the plant. However, a smaller, younger one might do in just 2 hours of sunlight. The important thing is, though, that they are frequently checked for the watering. The humidity factor is all a part of that. And if you end up with your root system still holding its moisture well, you may end up having to fog the upper area of the plant. Now, in fogging that plant, that simply means taking a little mist spray bottle and spraying away on the foliage, maybe once every day when the sun is just beginning to hit, so that the leaves will absorb moisture as well as it evaporates that moisture so that it hovers around the plant itself to create more humidity. Okay, remember we talked about how much light to have on a plant. And in some particular cases, you're not able to have a window positioned in the room exactly where you want to have your bonsai tree. There are many, many grow lights on the market right now. You can find them all over the internet. You can find them at different stores in different towns. There are little small grow lights that you just screw into a regular incandescent fixture. But there are also proper grow lights, such as LED grow lights, which are really coming into play right now for people, that are in many, many sizes. And you can have a dark corner that you can isolate with a small LED light, have yourself a wonderful bonsai, and in that room instantly transform it to a growing forest for your tranquility purposes. Those lights are not too expensive, but yet it all depends. You're going to get what you pay for. Anywhere from $25 a piece to hundreds of dollars a piece. Many different types of grow lights are out there. But those LEDs are nice and cool to the touch. They do not create heat. They can be used in a more vast amount of areas and give yourself a specimen bonsai to place on that lovely antique table to show off a corner of your room or office. Fertilization is another issue that does need to be done. Fertilization, of course, is going to make the plant grow. Now, you have to be careful what you do about fertilization. If you fertilize too much, you're trimming like I'm doing all the time. And believe me, you want to restrict it. But once a month, fertilization is average. However, in April, May, June, possibly even July, you can fertilize it every 2 weeks. That's the upswing of the year, and that is going to give you some phenomenal growth, some phenomenal looks to the plant itself, and again, just help it in general. Today we have trimmed up one of my older Zelkovas. We've gave it a little bit more open habit here. We've created a few branches that are more in place with the wirings. It is something that, remember, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And there are things that you do have to do by plucking yellow leaves each day so that you do have a very nice looking plant. But yellow leaves can also sometimes be a sign of maybe something is being done wrong. And I don't necessarily want to say wrong, but yet perhaps a little bit too long a time period between waterings, perhaps 4 or 5 days of cloudy weather, and that can cause more yellowing leaves. And certainly leaving it in that bath of water for too long, that can also cause yellow leaves a second or third day after that situation was done. But anyway, here we go. We have our lovely bonsai all trimmed up. I hope that you've learned a little something from this little segment that we've done. There are many, many things that still need to be done to this plant to conclude. But again, only time will tell. I usually, after a major pruning like this or a major trimming like this, I usually give it a week or so to fluff some, and then I go back and fine-tune some of the prunings that I've done. And in the meantime, I'll walk by at lunchtime or I'll check it out. I might see a few other branches that I want to alter. But again, it's all of that checking twice before you cut once. It's very important, especially on a plant that's 20 years old, because it takes a lot of time to regrow a branch back out that you've trimmed off. Remember the people that love to come in during their lunch hour and look around? Such as like Marv here. He enjoys coming in during his lunchtime and just watching the plants, looking at them, and eventually once in a while picking up that specimen item that he's had his eye on to take home to put into his wonderful bonsai collection. Which incidentally, Marv has new grow lights for his bonsai for this winter. And how are those grow lights working for you this year?
Very well, metal halide all the way.
All right, very good. So you see, you can make anything happen if you want to. Those grow lights will give that darkened basement a new life, and you can have a whole new growing room to enjoy all winter. I'm Rick Kossoudji. We're at North Dayton Garden Center. We're in our lovely bonsai houses. Please come back and see us again.